Welcome to my next The Last of Us Season 2 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, pretty important, if you are caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching The Last of Us, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode's title, which of course I'll mention, as well as put in the description. If that happens to be the case, if you find that you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this detailed review any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And yes, I know all the episodes have already aired. I did watch them when they aired, and now I'm rewatching them. I just want to take my time with doing these reviews because I've never played either of the Last of Us video games. I think I know everything that happens in the games going into the season one, and I just want to take my time. I felt like my season one review videos, when I did them right when the episode aired, I didn't really give a lot of knowledge, and I feel like waiting might be better. And maybe for season three, I'll have more knowledge going into it and be able to do the review videos right away. But I like the show a lot. I was interested in the show once I saw the season one trailer. It looked really good, and thus far the show is really good. I don't have a lot of gripes because I'm not a huge fan of the franchise. Like, I didn't play the games. There's some things that I think are really good, and there's some things that I think could have been done better. But all in all, it's a great series, and I'm interested to see where it goes, especially if they come out with another video game in the break in between season 2 and season 3. So with all that rambling aside, this will be The Last of Us season 2 episode 4. The title of this episode is called Day 1, and this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. We start with a federal van patrolling the Seattle quarantine zones. Janowitz tells what he finds to be funny story involving his previous sergeant, Greenberg, and his ineptitude in dealing with some voters who were handing out pamphlets. Burton, a younger soldier, questions why he calls the citizens voters. Their sergeant, Isaac, played by the great Jeffrey Wright, bluntly explains it's because they took away their rights, including their right to vote, so it's a form of mockery. They are interrupted when the van is surrounded by a group of WLF members led by Hanrahan. Isaac instructs most of the squad to remain in the van, but asks Burton to come out with him. Isaac and Hanrahan continue each other's identities, or confirm each other's identities, before Isaac returns to the van, promptly unpins two grenades, tosses them both inside the van, and slams the door shut, killing his soldiers and finishing off the driver with his gun. He shakes hands with Hanrahan, and then tells Burton to make his choice. Then we have Dina scavenging the remains of Weston's pharmacy for supplies, finding some tests for a yeast infection, but no medication. Just as she's about to leave, she discovers something and tells Ellie she needs a few minutes to pee. And then she rejoins Ellie and Shimmer, the horse, and they continue their journey. They take in their environment, noting their lack of severe bombing, and terms like pride in Capitol Hill neighborhood. They stumble across an abandoned tank surrounded by the skeletal remains of federal soldiers whom Ellie notes seem to have been fighting each other. She looks inside the tank, finding only 3 burnt skeletons whom she compares to the Apollo 1 astronauts. Dina spots a graffiti tag for the WLF on a satellite dish in the distance on a top of a TV station. Ellie tries to charge ahead, but Dina points out that it probably means that the WLF has a heavy presence and would spot their approach. So they decide to wait until it gets dark to continue on foot. The pair hole up in an abandoned music store and explore its collection of records and instruments. Ellie finds a bunch of moldy guitars. Her interest is, she searches around for it and then finds an intact one preserved in its case thanks to some silica gel packets. She takes it out and begins playing an acoustic rendition of Take On Me, and Dina is drawn upstairs by the music and tearfully listens as Ellie serenades her. Isaac ignites a stove and waxes poetic about his younger days, cooking for romantic partners, and his dreams of owning proper restaurant equipment, such as a copper saucepan. He takes the one pan and starts heating it up, noting that it does not retain heat like a cast iron, thus makes it inferior for interrogations. His prisoner is revealed to be Malcolm, a member of the Seraphites, whom Isaac refers to as Scars. Isaac has had Malcolm stripped nude and tortures him for information on their next attack. Burning his hand with the Pan when he refuses to answer. The two spar over their attacks, Malcolm blaming Isaac and the wolves for killing children, and Isaac in turn accusing the Seraphites of being equally brutal with bows and arrows. Malcolm spits that Isaac will lose to them because each day they have someone from WLF defects to the Seraphites, no one is doing vice versa. Isaac attempts to continue the interrogation, but is stopped in his tracks when Malcolm freely offers up his hand to be burned. Realizing he will get no useful information, Isaac promptly shoots Malcolm, and then outside the room, a young WLF guard listens to this with horror, while Burton claims that the Scar got what he deserved. Ellie and Dina approach a TV station but find no patrol. Ellie assumes this means there is a security camera and proposes they go through a back entrance. Dina finds a broken window on the second floor, which Ellie surmises it means someone else must have gotten through. They decide to press on and decide if they encounter any WLF members they saw in Jackson, they will deal with them. Upon heading inside, they are stunned to immediately find the dead body of a WLF member killed with arrows. Venturing further, they discover more brutality, finding the tortured and dismembered bodies of more WLF members, the sight of which causes Dina to vomit. Finding graffiti written in blood saying "Feel Her Love," accompanied by the symbol they saw on the group in the woods. Ellie realizes that this was their work, prompting Dina to question, what the fuck is wrong with Seattle? Just after Dina picks up a walkie-talkie, a squad of WF members come in, forcing Dina and Ellie to hide. The squad survey the bodies and decide to take out any scars they encounter, ignoring Isaac's orders to take any of them alive. Ellie and Dina initially evade the soldiers, but eventually they are forced to kill two as they escape outside and down a narrow shaft into a subway tunnel. And then in this tunnel, they find two collapsed passageways and an abandoned car. They search for a safe exit. Eventually, the WLF squad enter and the tunnel and begin lighting flares to smoke them out. However, one of the flares triggers an obscured group of cordyceps tendrils. The squad hear the sound of infected and are quickly overwhelmed when the entire horde emerges from the tunnels. Ellie and Dina at first escape into one of the subway cars, which they are alarmed to find is already filled with skeletons. They find the infected attempt to break in, forcing the two to escape through a ceiling hatch. Ellie finds a rusted exit gate and pushes her way through it. When Dina tries to follow her, a runner catches up to them and moves to bite her, but Ellie places her arm in front of Dina and takes the bite instead, giving Dina a chance to shoot the infected. So now Dina has seen Ellie take a bite, and that must freak her out. But she'll get another reveal in a second here. Before making it through the gate, trapping the infected behind, Ellie urges Dina to continue running as Dina stares at the bite in horror. They emerge outside, and Ellie proposes they hold up inside an abandoned theater nearby while Dina hesitantly readies her pistol. Ellie barricades the door only to turn around to find Dina tearfully holding her at gunpoint. Realizing what Dina thinks have happened, Ellie reveals she has been bitten before and is actually immune, telling a disbelieving Dina that she can prove it by falling asleep and waking up exactly the same as before, allowing Dina to continue pointing her gun at her during that time. She's like, whoa, I'm immune. Don't shoot. Do not fucking shoot me. Ellie is awoken by some water dripping on her face, finding Dina still holding her at gunpoint. She reveals she is still herself and shows the bite to Dina, proving her immunity by pointing out the absence of the infection. Dina stands up and tells Ellie she is pregnant before dropping the gun and kissing her. The two are overcome with emotion and consummate their relationship. So they get it on, and then Dina asks about her immunity, realizing that Ellie's tattoos are meant to cover up her previous bites. Ellie asks why Dina revealed her feelings now, to which Dina explains that she thought she was about to lose Ellie, and the future she had imagined the two could have together. Dina admits she always knew about Ellie's feelings and herself reciprocated, but felt pressure from her mother to hide her feelings for both boys and girls, and felt stuck with trying to make things work with Jesse. Ellie then asks how Dina knows she's pregnant. Dina explains that she was tipped off by her getting sick after seeing the bodies in the woods, as well as being late on her period, and then she confirmed after taking several pregnancy tests at the pharmacy. Ellie marvels at the idea that they, Dina, Ellie, and Jesse, are having a baby. And then they are interrupted by a WLF transmission from the walkie-talkie that Dina stole, reporting a retreat after the attack of the subway. Overhearing the mention of Nora being based in Lake Hill, they recall this was the one of the people who killed Joel. Venturing up to an upper floor to figure out their location, they are alarmed to see smoke from armed conflict in the distance, close to Lake Hill. Ellie offers to Dina that she could stay out of the fight given her condition, but Dina insists on continuing together, and that's what ends this episode of The Last of Us. So, okay episode. The good stuff in the subway was entertaining, and them running away from the building when they encountered the WLF. So, I'm going to give it an 8.3 out of 10. And then my character of the episode, I try not to give it to Ellie and Joel. Well, Ellie now. And I'm going to give this one to Dina because, aside from Ellie, she is easily the standout character in this episode. Although Isaac was good, but he's kind of sprinkled in. I think season 3 we'll get to know more about him. I don't know that much about Isaac's character. So with all that said, if you're a fan of The Last of Us and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure to go Hulk smash the like button, share the video with a friend, put this video on any one of your social media platforms. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are on this episode of The Last of Us. What would you rate it? Who would you choose as a character episode, and anything else that you want to add? Remember to watch my Last of Us playlist. If there's any other Last of Us content that you want to see, that'll be right here. And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel. Help me get over 100K subscribers. Yes, I know I can set my goals high. Join the team, share your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDET TV.